Throughout time, we've been manipulated to demonize certain symbols and make these symbols actually strike fear in humans. And I believe there's been a huge conspiracy, a huge deception on humanity. And just to prove it, I put this little thing together. So now, to start off, we'll go with these main symbols that I feel that they've been really screwing us up with. So, first of all, we all remember what this guy did, right? So now, when everybody looks at this symbol, first thing they think about is the horrors of the Holocaust. But when I look at that symbol, I see, look at the number 4, and spin. You see, you can, when you look at that, you see this vortex. And then this one, well, they burned people for using this because they said they're witches and they're playing with energy. Why all the power and why all the fear? Why are they afraid of people playing with this? And then this one always set me off. Biohazard. Why does this thing have to be the bad guy? You know what I mean? When I look at this, I see a tetrahedron. I see 4 spheres making a tetrahedron. But no, it's got to be poison. It's got to be killing people. So, when we go back to this, it's like these things have been just, they've been made a mess. And then people don't like to use them. Now what do you see in the news these days? You see this one. So they got this in everybody's face, and I'm not Jewish, okay? But if you're looking at it, you're thinking it's trouble in the Middle East. It's a mess. But, I mean, it's the most powerful symbol that I know of. All of these all pertain to the same thing. And what it is, when we start out, originally, we start out with 8 cells. And we start getting this spin that happens. And that spin is what creates all this potential energy we can play with. So when you look at this, you can almost see the swastika in it. You can see a pyramid. You can see an octahedron in it. You can see the 8 cells in that symbol. This is just a side view of a pyramid. But when we go back to the flower of life, that's how everything's built. We start out with, basically, like 4 cells, which is the biohazard, and then we go into the 8 cells, which turns into the cube, and the octahedron. The octahedron actually is the first thing, because the first sphere turns into 8 triangles, and they turn into the first 8 cells. But these 8 cells turn into 8 tetrahedrons, and these 8 tetrahedrons turn into a cube. Okay? So now this actually really goes down to the point where we're kind of in the box right now. That's the densest way that we can be, is just in our octahedron, in that box. And not being able to see what really the box is. But when you flip it on its axis, where it does have the spin on its axis, you get this other shape that appears, which is this one. Now, some people look at this, they see, oh, it looks like the Star of David. It's freaking the shit out of me. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, no. And if you look at this one, it's basically the same thing, but it's made out of 64 tetrahedrons, which is actually quite strange because we have the potential of 64 different genomes in our DNA, I guess. Just you know, synchronistic stuff. But when you actually chop off all the tops, all of these here, you get this one, which is the vector equilibrium, which is the cube octahedron. I'm not going to get into that. It's a little deep. But it turns out that when this one here, which is referred to as the light body, the Merkaba, like the chariot of light, it's actually your 4th-dimensional vehicle. So you got the densest realm, which is funny, like the 666 goes with the cube, the densest realm. They want to keep us in fear. They want to keep us in the densest realm. But you can master this one, which is the 4th-dimensional. So you can actually master your emotions and your thoughts and balance out your spin. You can run with anything you want. You'll never have anxiety if you know how to master your spin and your emotions and your thoughts. And there's quite a bit more. But then there's this one, which is like this one on steroids. So let's look at this. Why do they look the same, but this one here goes into 5? This one here goes into 3s. You know what I mean? 3 points, 5 points. And what do you see when you look at it? You see these pentagrams. this, like, that's bad. They say, oh, that's Satan. It's like, what the hell is this? This is actually the next, like, octave up. It goes into music, it goes into geometry, but nevertheless, we are going. You can be in this one, you can be in this one, but we are going in this one, and we can access this energy now. This is a version of ourselves that we can access now. They don't want us to access this version of ourselves. So, it turns out that we all have these magnetic fields. We're like walking magnets. And these walking magnets can be balanced, energized, if you know how to use your spin. So, it turns out, if you look at the Atlantis symbol, and what they actually had was always these 3 concentric rings. But they actually represent 3 spheres. These spheres are torsion fields. So you would have this third one on the outside. The second one goes into basically the icosahedron, which is the step to go to that. And then in the middle you would have this one. And if you actually want to go further, you have the baseline. Your first baseline is the octahedron. And they all fit together. Here you can see the octahedron in the middle turns into the cube. Now, it's all the same numbers landing together, and you can draw it out so simply. And then you got the icosahedron, which is actually the difference between this and this. So you got 3, you got 5. Now, this actually might look complicated to make. It's actually not complicated. You can actually make it out of 30 little sticks. If you can actually, you're going to end up with 12 pentagrams on it, 12 beams of light coming into you. If you actually look at this one, you got 8 beams going in. This one here has 6. So if you're dense, you're running 6, 8, 12. If you actually want to activate this third frequency range you can run with. So they all work together. They don't want us to know this. Because suddenly we're breathing in prana and we're no longer the same. And this symbol, they've got it in the media. Come closer. If you look, all these are stars of David. Stars of David can turn into all of the Platonic solids and stellated dodecahedrons and star tetrahedrons. Like, this is all too coincidence that they got this in people's face. And when people even see that symbol now, which is everything that's here, all has these countering triangles, they're going to be striking fear. Like they made these messes on purpose. So we didn't look at these things. But now we know. And what are they going to do? They're going to make a big mess with this? Like, everything has this. The planet has it. The only way you can exist is if you have all these shapes around you. And the planet has spin. All the weather patterns, all the sacred sites are all on these certain anodes where this stuff lays out. But they say, oh, you know, we just started out. We don't know who built this stuff. We built this stuff. They built this stuff. But they don't want us to know because suddenly we own this technology. And we're able to tap into it just by simply knowing it is there and why it's there. And the beauty and magnificence of this sacred geometry is through it. But then they go into the dynamic geometry, which is like, I think this thing's been hijacked. Our reality's actually been held into place in the frequency ranges that it's in by, they're either our keepers or, I don't know. I don't want to think of the worst, but there's something. I hope this was all good for you guys, and thanks.